feel like Mr. Servon. Yeah, Mr. Servon was a part of that.
Yo, Fiend, but Fiend was actually alright though.
Was Mystical? Mystical was
yeah. Well, he signed later with them.
No, he's not in the beginning. But
he's not original. He's not original. No Limit member.
He wasn't. No, he had. Well, see, he had distribution there with Jive, and then he signed with No Limit.
Yeah, he wasn't original though.
Yeah. Well, for all intents and purposes, he was pretty much original.
Nah.
He was there in the heyday.
He was a Deion. He was like when Deion went to the Cowboys.
I wouldn't go that.
That was his. Yeah, he was.
I would say that was more like Snoop becoming like Deion.
They was popular down there though.
They was very.
We
popular.
didn't like them because we was from up north.
We was laugh.
They was popular. I don't know what they was selling records and anything down there, so they was popular down south.
Right.
My cousin used to listen to them dudes. I'm like, yo, that stuff is trash.
You know what?
I had no tolerance for that. I was like, no, I'm not listening to none of that.
Up here, we were all about the lyrics. Like lyrics, we were honed in the East Coast, New York style, Nas, kind of Cannabis, and even like if you go back, Big Daddy Kane. We were honed in that kind of in that mindset. Whereas down there, it's not the case. Like even if I was in Atlanta this weekend,
shout out to Phil.
All just trap music, all like no lyrical content. But when you're in the club, it makes you dance, and I guess that's what the vibe is, you know. And you know, to each his own.
Yo, I'm surprised Zoe. So Zoe was the first dude I knew with anything Cash Money, because No Limit was a different thing. But Cash Money kind of came on the scene, and then Zoe had the 400 Degrees Juvenile John, and I was like, "Yo, what is this?" And we moving a little ahead a little bit, but this is more so '98. But I'm sure the album came out in '90. I mean, this song came out in '97. This joint right here, you couldn't deny though, yo.
That was hot.
That was hot. He was like, "Yo, these boys got a baby." And then after that, everybody got done.
And we did the video.
10 years later, everybody's done.
And that's the year we dropped out of school. He said, forget about that.
Yeah, man.
I remember
you claim you a thug, but you're scared to come to the project at night, huh?
Yeah.
It wasn't even ramen, but it was just like, it's funny. It's hot.
Yo, but Juvenile put it in perspective, because like, when you think you living in the hood, East Coast, West Coast, come down here. This is hood.
Yeah.
We
like
third world.
It was all like East Coast, West Coast, and that was it.
Yeah. Yo, that was third world, in the first world.
Yeah.
And I remember
it was this really dirty
world. I've seen hoods that was nothing like this is a mansion.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But I remember I played this for my English teacher, Mr. Cleveland, 9th grade.
Mr. Cleveland?
Yo, it was awkward too, because Amir and Aisha were in that class. So you have somebody who was in 9th grade when we're in the 7th grade. 8th grade, she's in 9th grade. In 9th grade, your younger brother's in the same English class as you. That's awkward. And then 9th and 10th grade, he moved on, and she's still in 9th grade.
Shout out to Aisha.
Yeah, she thinks she's Dominican too. I see she has a fucking Dominican flag, talking about this, that, and the third. I'm like, you're African. You black But I remember when Mr. Cleaver heard this, and cause we were doing poetry unit. So I was like, yo, this is a song called Ha, and he heard it, and he saw the poetic value of Ha, where like the average white person was like, what the hell, you just say hi in every line, but he saw why we would say hi, because it was our language, in the sense like, this is how we're communicating. We always use hi as kids. Granted, we didn't make a whole song or a whole conversation out of Ha, but it was something we would go through, like, you see that boy down there, this was something we were saying, but he put it in a song. Unfortunately, then all his other songs either ended with a ha, a you understand,
I'm about to say.
You gotta put your mama,
Let's not go too far.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Poetically defending ha.
Well, that's why I had to put everything in perspective too, because unfortunately, this is Juvenile just ran with it.
Yeah.
For all the wrong reasons.
But we felt it because it was real.
Yeah.
Like, it just came through the screen, it came through the song.
Yeah.
Yo, this boy is really, this is his life. He talking about his experience.
Yeah, exactly.
We go all, like I said this before, Armand, we, as listeners, all we expect is just you to give us your reality. Just give us your reality, and, we'll take it from there. You know what I mean? But, yeah, man, so,
that's why I like Currency.
Absolutely.
He's another one. He stay in his lane. He gives you what he do. He's playing video games, and it's like going out to eat, chilling with girls. So he like, remaking old cars, tricking out old cars. And that's what he stay in his lane. And that's what I like about him and a couple of dudes from the new generation. As long as you stay in your lane, I'm cool.
And not only that, Currency respects the culture. Like we had a conversation on the last podcast. He's MC to me. Here's a guy when you talk about him, he'll tell you how his main influence is Tribe Called Quest. You know what I mean? Just on the pure cultural aspect. But he knows where his lane is at. You know, I'm about the cars.
Shout out
I'm
to
about smoking up.
Man. Shout out to
you know what I mean? But I'm gonna be lyrical about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he knows how to ride the beat and he knows how to become almost like an instrument to the beat in a sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, man, I just want to send a shout out to Kev for coming through, making this happen, building with me on the podcast, building with us on the podcast. So as usual, man.
Always.
And I have one closing thought here, and it's not hip hop related, but I mean Armand hit me up, earlier, and I respect that. But this is, the terrorist attack in Belgium. Let's give you insight for the listeners who don't know. I have family that live in Belgium. My sister, my stepfather, and of course the extended family from them. So seeing what happened, in Brussels. I mean, they live in Bruges, so they're about an hour and a half away. But I'm numb to a lot of this stuff at this point. When we see stuff, okay, bombing here, bombing there. But when you somebody personally there, and it's like, damn, that could have, something could have happened to them. And you make put things in perspective, like, you can't take anything for granted. Not only that, and it's like, and what bothers me in a sense when, what happened with France, everybody put the French flag up. But why we're not putting flags up or even acknowledging countries that are not quote-unquote Western countries or European or white-based countries would have, something going on in Turkey, the Ivory Coast, throughout Africa, Burma, something's been happening. I think we as a society, we need to acknowledge all of this, not what happens to, let's say, a first world country, because we look at a third world country getting bombed or a genocide happening, it's whatever, but when it's something European, like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And to me, it's like, we should all be affected the same way. It shouldn't take us okay, this happens here, regardless of whether you believe that person's in the right or you respect that country. Life is life. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to innocent life, when it comes to children, when it comes to women, and just anything in general. I think we just, as a society, need to be more, reflect on things and how can we improve on it, or how can we build so stuff like this is not everyday occurrence, and that's just my closing thoughts on that. I don't even know if we're ever going to come to a solution, but just at least to put it out there,
Break them. The solution is to break them boys' asses over there. They keep doing that. If you going, no pray for them, no peace. You come at they throw some fire at you. You give them some superior fire. Yeah. That's all you do. But they hell bent on the destruction of like Western civilization. They don't like internet. They don't like partying, alcohol. They don't like none of that stuff. So they like, anybody that do that, multiculturalism, we gonna take y'all out. It's not all of them, but the ones that's on that time. Man, give them what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for no prayer. They're looking for that work. So I'll be like, I'm in politics. I'll be like, hey, get rid of them.
But I also look at it like, even, and I'm not going to debate that, but we also, to me, have to look at the root cause. Why did this even get to this point as far as so much the radicalism, and when we look at as far as imperialism, colonialism, and so forth, and it's like, to me, as a society, we don't acknowledge enough of that. Say, okay, this is why we're here at this point. When 9/11 happened, I looked at it as like, well, why did the towers get hit? What were we doing to make so many people pissed off where they were able to get people who are feeble-minded to believe in such a perverse cause? And to me, we look at the root cause. You can fight the main issue at this point, but if you don't get to the root cause and say, okay, we need to acknowledge this, we need to put this in the forefront to move forward, to me, it's just going to go, you just put a Band-Aid on a wound that's never going to close up. You know what I mean?
And that's some dudes, they be frauding, because they be saying, like, oh, it's America, it's the great Satan, but you hitting places that don't got nothing to do with the Middle East. Belgium they don't got nothing to do with anybody in the Middle East, like France. They not no power over in the Middle East. It's usually Russia, America, and Britain. We laying havoc down over there, but y'all hitting places that don't even got nothing to do. Like people in Africa, and they did Ivory Coast, like you said. Someplace in Ghana, then they hit Paris, France, and Belgium. So they did another joint in India. So I'm like, I don't know what y'all might as well just throw that wreck at us or Russia. Leave everybody else alone. But they like hitting them soft targets. Because they know a lot of those places don't have no guns. They got inferior police departments and all that stuff. So I don't know what be on them dudes' mind. I mean, I just be praying that, it don't happen, but I'm not praying for them because, once somebody helping on doing some negativity, I don't think your prayer can do nothing for them. But I just hopefully, you minimize their damage when they do stuff like that. You know what I mean? So we gotta see, man. It's just like, hopefully nothing bigger happens no time soon because they saying they threatening to do bigger. I would leave that whole region alone. I'll pull all the troops out all over there. I ain't put no American troops nowhere in the Middle East. Them dudes they don't play fair.
Yeah.
They hitting anything. So I was like, yo, just worry about here. Fix these potholes.
Rules kind of go out the door.
I dig you. I'll say this: if you so there's families over in Belgium who the sister went out to take a flight, or the brother went out to take a flight or take the train, and a mother, or father, or somebody important, daughter, son, and they're not coming home tonight. Because there's some hateful people out there that for no reason decided to rob them of their lives. So if you are a praying person, if you are some person that believes in some deity, take a second, take some time to pray for the families, keep the families in your thoughts, because this thing is senseless, and in a time like this, all that we can do today, right now, in the second, is pray. Tomorrow, we can act, but today we can keep them in our thoughts. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, man. I'll before we wrap one up, man.
It was funny that we did a podcast last time. Remember we did a podcast that night about the Paris show.
Yeah, and the Paris happened that night. We had a show that I think Joe was on the show. I think we had a show that same night.
It was 98.
It was the Paris shooting. Doing in Belgium.
This is a terrible trend.
To speak what Kev just said, and I feel like all of us probably feel the same way. I speak for all of us, but just sending this out to the listeners. Whether you are in a religious creed or any type of cult or any type of belief, spiritual, whatever, anything that breaks you down in this dichotomy, we call social classism. If you're a child of the universe and you're a child of God, then we all have to submit to be servants of life. You know what I mean? And once we do that, our purpose is what we make it. And what I mean by servants is we're givers, we're helpers, when by nature. And I can say that for everybody on this podcast. You know what I'm saying? So to just extend kind of what Kev said, just to continue to be a servant of life. You know what I mean? Helping out somebody that you don't even know, a stranger. Giving somebody knowledge. Giving somebody support, help, encouragement. Call somebody, hey bro, how you doing today? Your family, all that stuff, man. Your kids, your nieces, your grandmother. And just continue to be a servant of love in general. That's really where I'm getting at. Being a servant of love. Because that kind of that checked all the boxes. You know what I mean?
And I was telling Brandon earlier, like people like us, like good people that follow the law, and good people that have good intentions, positive people, get a license to carry. You know what I mean? That's what I told Brandon. I got my joint renewed. I mean, Brandon, you gotta be walking around here, naked. You know what I mean? And then some people hell bent on doing negativity all the time,
right?
And that's all they care about. But some positive people, like I told people that go to my mom in the church also all have heat. I mean, y'all all should have, something to carry with. Because y'all good people, but some people ain't that good. So Malcolm said, praise the Lord, but pass the ammunition. I agree. Praise the God and all that. Yeah, I hear you, cool. But, be strapped too. You know what I mean? Because, this world ain't all perfect. And, everybody not going to love us, you know what I mean? And do stuff. So treat people the way you want to be treated. But, always, I'm not saying to go out and shoot nobody, but, protect you and your family from these knuckleheads out there. Legally.
Word up. Right. Law-abiding citizens, man. Hey, man, this is another classic, great podcast, 97 review, with some extra, stuff on top. I mean, I just like I said, I appreciate all y'all for coming through.